Thank you for a wonderful talk. So what is your recommendation? What should the Europeans do now, given the institutions they've created, given the political dynamics? What's the best way to play the cards they have?
So the kind of economics I do, there's some questions you can answer and there's some questions you can't. And quite frankly, I can't answer a question like that because for a couple reasons. On a superficial level, there's no good answer. What should they do now? Because the whole thing is pockmarked with conflicts of interest. There's just going to be winners and losers. So I could, if I owned some European assets, I could tell you what would be best in my interest. But so that just tells you there's a whole balance of forces. But then the deeper thing is the way we think, the way modern macroeconomists or microeconomists think things work is you talk about arrangements, which are, you could call them constitutions or rules of the game. The way decisions are made, Milton Friedman called them a framework for monetary stability. Bob Lucas has called it that. You put down that framework and you talk about better or worse outcomes you get with different frameworks. So now, if you apply that kind of reasoning to Europe, I could ask there's some really great experts here on and I won't embarrass them, but who know a lot about the international monetary systems. If I asked them to tell me exactly what is the European arrangement, like what are the understandings of the obligations and the responsibilities and the rights of various government institutions to do things, and what are the legal things, they couldn't tell me. Because some things are written down and some things are vague. Some things that promises that have been made are illegal. Sometimes we don't even know what the framework is. So that's why I can't give you a good answer to that. So actually, one thing that's worth doing is like looking across different countries and looking at there's a lot of heterogeneity across countries and whether they I don't know, you look at banking regulation or some countries have persistent deficits and some don't. And you could sort of ask yourself, what kind of timing protocols and arrangements, political arrangements, led to certain kinds of outcomes in terms of just simple things like rules, negotiating protocols between the executive and the Congress. My bet is if we had the Chilean way of making decisions about government budgets. And if President Obama had the power that the president of Chile has, you wouldn't have a fiscal cliff. It couldn't happen. And they're both democracies, but different operating procedures and different orders in which proposals are made. Those things all matter. And economists we get in over our head by saying what should happen is this European Central Bank should cut the interest rate by 50 basis points, and that's going to be